No, that's down the hall. That's in
Darkstone 401.
Darkstone 401. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Dicefest 2025, everybody.
Yeah. If you thought you were actually supposed to be attending Dicefest 2023, you're off. Go back into your time machine.
Go back through the
couple
portal.
more years. And if you go to 2027, you'll see that we're all Morlocks. And it's all gone.
In 2 years? It would take us
you
longer
don't
than
know?
2 years to be.
You don't know about the Morlocks? Anyway. So, yeah, we're a little late because we decided at the last minute, what if we live streamed? We've never done it before for one of these, but we thought maybe we'd give it a shot. But we're using new tech because one of the reasons we haven't live streamed is there's not great reception in here. Because it's last minute and unplanned, I'm like, I should post. We're just going to live stream on YouTube. And so I was going to post on like Facebook and let people know. And I wrote the post. Yeah, it's still thinking. So if anybody else has better connection here, maybe you could post on the Brimstone community group and go like, look on YouTube, they're live streaming. That would help. Maybe the Tradarian Spy Network has somebody in the audience today. Oh, yes, I spotted one. Anyway. All right, well, yes, welcome to Dicefest 2025. This is Jason Hill.
Yeah. All right.
It went through?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder why it's just thinking about it. Anyway, so we have some exciting stuff to talk about today. First of all, I just wanted to take the temperature of the room. Was anybody excited by the big reveals today in the store? Oh, they liked it. We were like 50-50. We're like, they might not. I don't know. I mean, those Gorgons don't look awesome. Oh, wait, no, they do.
All right.
And the Greek heroes, I'm excited. Wait until you guys play. Has anybody played with them already? Yeah?
Oh, we got a few in the audience here.
All right, so 50-50, one player from Brazil, one from the USA. Okay, we're good. We've
We had one
covered
over
the
here, too.
world. Oh, that's 3? Okay. Yeah, we do have it running on one of the boards. I think it's the Forest of the Dead.
Forest of the Dead, yeah. That's one of the dark room tables downstairs that has 4 Greek champions delving into the Forest of the Dead.
Yeah, in the description of it for Tabletop Events, we had to they were like, let's tell them it's going to be the Greek heroes. We're like, no! We've been working so hard to keep this a secret. And so, we basically said something like, heroes of myth, or something like that.
Something along
where
those
it's a little
lines,
bit,
slightly vague.
It's vague enough where people might be like, okay, and not think too much about it. Anyway, so we have a whole slideshow presentation. As we go, we're going to stop in a few places to take questions and answers about the stuff we're talking about. And then at the end, there will be more time for Q&A. And then some show and tell hands-on where people can come up and actually see and touch some minis and things like that.
Yeah, some 3D printed prototypes. All right. Well, why don't we jump on to the first slide? What do we got?
All right. The other thing I'll say is that because we're live streaming, if you're at home, we can also take some questions from the YouTube audience. So you can write your questions in the comments, and we'll see. Maybe Daniel can relate them to us as we go. All right. So we'll begin.
What are we kicking it off with?
Well, we've got a slide here showing the center stage spotlight. And
Well, that was already there.
I made the thing a while ago, and so, okay, look at this.
Oh, look at this. What's this?
Oh, I guess
So-
Jason has some news.
We wanted to let everyone know that as of last night, the new version 2.01 of the Shadows of Brimstone FAQ is live on the website. So it is up now. You can download it as a PDF. We basically pulled out all of the elements that were changes from the revised edition. We're going to make a separate document that has just those changes for people that still have the kind of original version. But this new version of the FAQ is starting from the point of use the revised edition rule books and adventure books as like the baseline. But there's some new optional rules in there. There's some new different corrections and errata from some of the cards from the entire catalog of Brimstone. And in addition,
Next slide.
the next slide will show another thing that we went ahead and put up as of last night is live. It's a brand new Shadows of Brimstone token reference chart. So it's a 2-page chart that has every side bag token that we've ever released for the game. And then on the back side, it also has every status effect marker. So it collects them all into one place. And cunning observers will notice it does include stuff from this across time heroes and enemies set. So it has, say, stone markers for the Gorgons and things like that.
It's a little future-proofed.
A little bit future-proofed, yeah.
There might even be one that people won't recognize yet.
And there, just as the disclaimer, there's always a chance that something got missed or left behind. If there is, just send us an email. We'll get it added on there, and this will be updated, along with the FAQ. And now that we have the new version of the FAQ out and live now, the intent is to try and get it updated more frequently. Obviously, it's been a few years now since the last update to it, but there was some hurdles to getting over that. But now that it's up, hopefully it'll be updated a lot more frequently.
Yes, the best part is, before we announced this today, earlier in the day, one of our demoers was running the 3D board for Frontier Town, and he was like, "Oh, what do the shaken markers do again?" I'm like, "You should look at the token reference." He's like, "What? What's that?" I pull out my phone. He's like, "That's cool." Like, yes, we're going to announce it at 2:30. All right, so if we go to the next slide, it'll show where you see these things. It's on the resources page of the Shadows of Brimstone website. All right, well, let's, that new news is old now. Let's move on to something else. Oh, what? Oh. All right, so issue 3 of the Darkstone magazine we're actually showing here, so you can see it actually features the Greek heroes and has a big featured article about all of the new Greek stuff and the across time branding, and we're going to talk about that today. But besides that, you can see this issue is going to have 6 new cards. If you have very good eyesight, you can zoom in and see what those cards are. And then this is the actual cover. It's not a mock-up. There's a revisiting of the derelict ship, the finishing of Jason's article, or not article, but your story.
Oh, the last
train to redemption.
Yeah, that's true.
The exciting conclusion. Mm. Yeah. And then, I don't know, what else we have on here? Oh, there's a connections article on zombies.
Yeah, zombies throughout the world of Flying Frog.
That's pretty cool. And then to go with that, we have an art showcase of Last Night on Earth and an artist's interview with Lycian Gorgons. So there's a bunch. Oh, right. Jason has a big design perspective article on Epic Threat.
Yeah, it's basically challenge levels for epic threats across the game. So one thing that a lot of people have asked us over the years is, how dangerous are the different epic threats out there in the game? And are they good for level 1 heroes? Do you want to wait until you're level 3 or level 4? So basically it's just taking a look at all the different epic threats that are out there and kind of categorizing them as far as their challenge level goes.
So again, I'm not sure that you can actually make it out, but on there it does say winter 2026. We were attempting at first to get this out for the fall, and then we just decided with the pledge manager and all of the new stuff that we revealed this morning, all the Greek stuff, and then, the crazy exciting stuff coming for Black Friday, we just couldn't bring it home. So it's just been pushed slightly out, so it's gonna be in winter of 2026. So not too far off, but a couple months down the line. But we wanted to at least show you it's coming, and here's what it looks like, and then we're planning for 2 more issues after that. One that's probably around roll to move time, and then one in the fall.
In 2026.
In 2026.
Yeah. Two more issues in 2026.
Yes. 2 more issues in 2026, just to be clear. Not 2027. We all know the Morlocks are coming.
All right.
Actually, the Morlocks are going to take over the magazine and just start writing.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Oh, new products debuting at Dicefest 2025. So this is especially going to be good for people at home because you guys have had more time and also direct contact with us in the store explaining a little bit about the Greek stuff. But if you're at home watching, scoot your chair closer to the screen. and I don't know, but I think we're going to talk about stuff that will like enhance knowledge. Let's do it. Let's look at the Greek stuff.
So we're just going to do a quick overview of the stuff that's available today at Dicefest, and just kind of what's cool about it.
Void fungus.
Void fungus. Yeah, so this is void fungus are basically a new hazard type enemy where they're kind of fungal spores that drift through the void and end up going through portals and landing in virtually every other world, and then start sprouting into these corrupting, deadly void fungus. And it spreads really fast. And so this enemy pack basically has the new void fungus enemies. They have a lot of kind of corrupting spores, and they've got little mycelium tokens where they spread the kind of wiry mesh-like roots out, and then they can spawn up new fungus every turn adjacent to existing fungus or the little mycelium network. So you have to basically try to fight your way through all this to get to the fungus itself and kill it before it can spread too far. They also have, I think it's 6 different void spores, types of spores that kind of change how they interact with the heroes. So there's a lot of variety to it, and this set comes with a mission.
Yes, and the models turned out great.
Yeah.
They're like really nicely detailed, and they're in different sizes and different sculpts. So it's a cool set. Also, just getting something else for kind of like classic Old West kind of thing. I mean, they appear in other worlds too, but like they fill the mines in certain areas. You gotta be careful. And they make a good soup, surprisingly. But you will get corrupted.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see the next one. Oh boy. All right, so
the Greek champion hero. So when we set out to do the Greek champion hero, we basically wanted to make a character that's sort of a mythic figure, a mythic Greek champion, along the lines of Hercules or Jason and the Argonauts or Odysseus. Perseus, sure. Or there's also a lot of pretty epic female Greek champions as well, Atalanta or Hippolyta. And so we wanted to basically capture that sort of demigod feel of playing as one of these epic Greek heroes that's sort of got a mythological edge to them. And so that's kind of what we set out to do, to make a character that has a lot of really cool and powerful bonuses, but then also has some inherent drawbacks to them. So almost similar to like the Drifter class, where he's really strong and powerful, has a lot of knowledge and wisdom over the years, but he's also a danger magnet. With these guys, they have a few different decks of cards that kind of tell the stuff that's cool and the different abilities they have that are really powerful, but also some of the negatives. Scott, I'm not sure how many slides you have on these guys. I don't want to get ahead of the slide.
Give me 1 second. All right. I was covertly texting Daniel, could you take a couple pictures while we're doing this? But I'll just tell him.
All right. Covert message sent.
Yeah. All right, anyway. So yeah, it probably, given how bad the connection is in here, it would take an hour. Anyway, there's a slide here showing these right here are the pose A miniatures. And then we also did a pose B miniatures. So the next slide here shows like a little bit more dynamic and crazy poses. So the guy, I don't know if you can really see from this photo, but he's just running like crazy. And the female champion is like jumping, sliding to the side, firing her bow in this kind of all-out lunge.
Yeah. So you may ask, A and B hero pack, that's a strange thing. We've never seen that before. But the main thought was that because this is sort of a standalone thing, at least for right now, we thought a lot of people might want to play with a team of Greek heroes, Greek champions. And so it would be really cool to not just have the male and female pose, but have a variation on them. So that you could have, if you had a team of 3 or 4 players, you could actually have a unique pose for each character. And so we wanted to make that happen and thought this would be a cool place to do that.
Yeah, and originally we had talked about just having one set of the, one actual box of this is the hero pack, and then alternate miniatures that you could buy on their own. But we knew no matter how much we tried to guess, somebody's favorite would be like the one that's not in the box. And so they would, say, well, you're making me buy these that I don't want because I just want those figures or something. And we're like, you know what, let's give them the option so you can just get either one. We plan to sell the minis individually, separately. We just weren't able to cast enough to have those as well. So in the future, we'll have those where you can just get the minis as well. But the printed material, while it's easy enough to split it 2 ways, I think you'd be hard pressed to split it 4 ways. And so I do think that if you got A and B, you'd have 4 unique miniatures with 4 unique themed Greek temple ruins bases and 2 sets of the printed material. And so I think between that, you could actually have 4 players play very easily.
Yeah, I think you probably could.
Do you want to talk about what is that printed material? Because it's a lot more than a normal hero.
It is. So, one of the things that's important to note is that with the A and the B set, the only difference between them is the miniatures that come with it. So it's the same printed material for both of the sets. And so that printed material, basically, it has the large hero character sheet, as you would expect. It's got the rule book. It's got the upgrade skill tree. And then for the cards, it actually comes with a big brick of 50 cards, which is actually more cards than in any other enemy set even like the deluxe enemy sets usually only have somewhere between 30 to 45 cards. So yeah. It's a pretty beefy new set of cards because, again, it's fairly a standalone hero pack. And so we kind of wanted it to encapsulate all of the cool stuff that we could for Greek mythology and kind of getting a lot of that flavor and feel into things. So one of the reasons that it has so many cards is because it has multiple different decks of cards that you use. One of the big ones is, as this sort of demigod Greek champion, you get a Greek god as a patron, and that inherently gives you a bonus. You basically draw a random Greek god as a patron. That gives you an inherent bonus, but it also gives you access to a deck of Gift of the Gods cards. And those are basically like special powers that are themed for that particular god that's your patron. So, depending on which patron you draw when you're generating your character, that determines which entire deck of Gift of the Gods cards you're pulling from during your adventures. So we wanted to have a unique deck of Gift of the Gods cards for each of the different patrons that come in the set.
I'm curious, Jason, what are some of those gods?
There's 4 main patron gods that you can have.
Poseidon?
You can have Zeus, you can have Poseidon,
yes.
You can have Hephaestus, and you can have Athena. And then each of those has their own unique Gift of the Gods deck. And so, if you're playing with Zeus as your patron, you might be able to draw cards like, a Thunderbolt that you can call down as a favor from Zeus where it can strike one of the enemies, or call in a favor from one of the other gods because Zeus has sort of domain over Olympus. Whereas, say, for Hephaestus, he's all about the forge and kind of fire. And so you can have things like a massive volcanic eruption that you can have go off on the board and shower lava on enemies. Or you can have him specifically tool up your weapons and use the power of Hephaestus to fill some of the upgrade slots in your items with kind of divine runes that give you bonuses. So each god has their own kind of theme and benefits, and they all play fairly differently from each other.
But I would say that the gods, especially in Greek mythology, seem to be petty.
They're a little bit fickle.
Jealous.
A little bit petty and fickle, it's true.
So I wouldn't be surprised at all if, while some gods give you gifts, others might not like you and work against you.
It's true. So because the Greek champion has all of these bonuses with having a god as a patron, Zeus or Athena or whatnot, you also have to draw a divine nemesis card, which is basically some sort of mythological figure or Greek god that hates you. That's basically trying to give you a hard time and ruin your day during the course of your missions. And so you draw that at character creation, and that's kind of your divine nemesis for the career of your hero. And so each card, it'll be Hera, who's jealous of you, or it might be Hades, who basically has taken note of you and sends undead from the underworld after you at every chance he gets. And so those cards basically detail what kind of negatives they do to your hero over the course of your adventures. Another thing that's pretty cool with the Greek champion that makes them pretty powerful is that they have a new ability token called Favor. And so you basically can use Favor tokens to reroll dice, individual dice. But when you reroll it, instead of just getting a reroll, it lets you reroll using 2 dice, and you get to pick which roll you want to use. And as an added bonus, if you roll doubles on the reroll, you actually get to add the 2 dice together. So it makes for a pretty cool moment when you're like, you roll something, it's like, oh, that was really bad, I need to reroll, I use my Favor, I reroll 2 dice, suddenly I get doubles, and it turns something that was catastrophically bad into, by the favor of the gods, it goes remarkably well, you know? So it creates some really cool story moments.
Yes.
And those Favor tokens are also used to power the Gifts of the Gods cards that you're drawing throughout your adventures.
And of course, like other heroes, you have your starting upgrades and starting gear.
Yeah,
all
we don't want to give everything away, but the starting upgrades are intended to.
I honestly thought you were going to say, no, we don't want to give everything away, but the starting upgrades are, and you were just going to start going through, and I'm like, what? All right, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the starting upgrades are designed to play very differently, so that if you have a party with more than one Greek champion, it means that they're going to be doing very different stuff and interacting very differently with each other and the enemies that you run into.
In fact, you may note that the female Greek champion in Pack B here has a bow and arrow. What? One of her starting upgrades actually loses the Aegis shield, and instead she gets, or he gets, a bow and arrow.
It's true. It's true. And another thing that is kind of cool is with the skill tree for the Greek champion, not only do you get to have a really good variety of different abilities you can get as bonuses as you level up, but also when you hit level 3 and level 6, your Divine Nemesis also gets an upgrade. And so there's a little villainous upgrade die roll chart to see what new evil things your Divine Nemesis does to you now that you've leveled up. All right, so I think that covers a pretty good overview of the Greek champion.
Let's spin on to the next slide.
Let's see what the next slide is.
So this actually shows the A and the B, just to make sure it's clear which minis come with which ones.
All right.
We probably don't need to belabor that, but all right. Oh, it's our first enemy set for the Greek stuff, and we've got the Lycian Gorgons.
Yeah. So one of the things we thought when we started working on this Across Time project was it would be cool not only to have heroes from other time periods, but it would be important to also have some enemies from those time periods that are kind of native for them to fight, which would make sense and kind of let you build adventures around. And so, of course, with Greek champions and Greek mythology, one of the first things that springs to mind that would be super cool is to have Gorgons, like Medusa. And so we have this enemy pack that's 3 large enemies, the Lycian Gorgons, and they are armed with bows. And you can see they've got a full serpentine body with the snakes for hair. They're pretty dangerous enemies. And so one of the things that the new Across Time Greek enemies have as an ability is they use a new type of token called mythic power tokens. And so basically, you'll see this with both the Gorgons and with the other new enemy that we're going to talk about. Mythic power tokens are something where it's basically they charge up from turn to turn, and when they have enough mythic power tokens, it allows them to unleash a big, powerful kind of mythic ability at the heroes. And so with the Lycian Gorgons, their mythic power is to try to turn you to stone. And so they come with a new status effect called Stone Markers that go on your hero and slow you down a little bit, slow your initiative, slow your move. And if your initiative ever reaches 0, it means it actually turns you to stone and KOs you by wounds. So it's basically a way that gets around potential tricky heroes with all their armor and cover and defense and all of that kind of thing, high health totals.
I do like the fact that you're not just instantly stone, but you're slowed down as you're turning to stone.
Yeah, you know, your arm turns to stone.
Yeah, and you're like,
maybe your legs.
Oil can.
All right. No Tin Man, no Tin Man. Yeah, so that is a good quick overview of the Lycian Gorgons. What do we have?
Do you want to talk about now? See, because this is Shadows of Brimstone, obviously these are sort of native to the Greek champions fighting them.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised at all if they maybe appeared in other worlds.
They do. It's true. Yeah.
What?
So the Lycian Gorgons have the regular threat cards for the low, medium, and high. There's also an epic threat card where you can face 3 sisters, where you face 3 more powerful Gorgons as an epic threat. But they have otherworld threat cards for both the sunken city of Ferox as well as the Forest of the Dead. Yep.
All right. All right. And you'll see we actually have 2 unique sculpts here. One is actually doing the stone glare, and then the other 2 are firing their bows.
Yeah,
I guess they're firing their arrows now that I think about it. Okay.
The other thing that is of note with their ability to turn you to stone is not only do they build up their mythic power to do, like, choose someone as a target to specifically gaze at, but also when the heroes are attacking them, if you roll 1s to hit, then you accidentally catch their eye and potentially take stone markers that way as well.
One other thing I'll say from the model perspective, you'll notice that they have bases that are unique just for these guys. We did theme bases of Greek temple ruins. And so these come with those theme bases in 40 millimeter, and there's 3 unique ones for the 3 sisters, or whatever, the Gorgons. And then we didn't mention it before, I don't think, but the Greek champions come with 4 unique 30 millimeter temple ruin bases. We were like, are we gonna sell these as a thing? And then we're like, I mean, how is that gonna work? It's not like you wanna base all your guys on Greek temple ruins. So we thought, let's just, instead of doing it as a separate thing, we'll include it in the box so that you just get them for the guys you need, and it just makes sense. All right, let's go on. Oh, the Nemean Lion.
All right, yeah, so the other new enemy that we have is the Nemean Lion, which is, of course, a mythological lion that has impervious skin that's impervious to harm. The Nemean Lion in Greek mythology is most famous for being one of the challenges of Hercules facing off against the lion, one of his trials there. And so we wanted to do the Nemean Lion as basically a big XL boss enemy, which we haven't really done in the thermoplastic before. That's kind of a new thing, is to do a big XL enemy. And so
there's a reason it's big.
It is a big.
I think it was across 5 molds to make one guy.
Big beastly lion. So the Nemean Lion is a pretty powerful foe. Just like the Lycian Gorgons, it also has the mythic tokens where it builds up and then unleashes a big roar. That's pretty terrifying. But it's also a very powerful, very powerful foe to fight because, again, it's part of its mythology is that it's almost impervious to damage. But its roar can be quite deadly. Once it builds up enough mythic power tokens, it unleashes the roar, which can make everyone close by, all heroes close by, not only get a stunned marker, but also a shaken marker. So it can really mess up the heroes when it roars a big roar. All right.
So, anybody who's been following the games that we make and what we're doing for a while will probably know that, number one, we love surprises. And we're hoping this morning to create like that, a little bit of recapturing that feeling of like Christmas morning, where it's like there's actual surprises and stuff under the tree, aka in the store, right? but the other thing you may notice about us is that we will telegraph things sometimes a decade or more in advance, and there's
we do like Easter eggs.
We can reveal now that there was a hint about the Nemean Lion in Forest of the Dead.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know if anybody has already seen that.
And one of the Forest of the Dead artifacts.
Yes. Yeah. What was it called? It was like
Nemean cloak.
Nemean Lion cloak. Yeah.
Yep.
So it all means something.
We also telegraphed the Anubis mask in Forest of the Dead.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I said that this means something. It's a reference to Close Encounters.
Yeah.
Where he's scooping up the mashed potatoes. He's like, this means something. That's That's what this is what we do. All right, let's see the next slide. And this is an awesome new piece of art by one of our illustrators that we love working with, Cardinianus, who's in France. And it really really shows the heroic nature of the Greek champions. And
facing off against unspeakable horror as well.
Yeah.
With the tentacles.
So, so one of the questions that people have, and so I can tell you right now, we don't even have to go to YouTube or ask the audience. One of the questions people have is, now, this isn't a core set. What world do we play in? What's the map tiles? What do we do? How do we do that?
Yeah.
What do we do?
So the Greek champions work really well in almost any world. I mean, you can imagine, if a group of these demigod mythic heroes of Greek legend go on a quest, they could very easily end up in any of the other worlds, the Swamps of Jargono, the Targa Plateau. As far as Earth-based worlds to start them in, the Norse lands is a great one to do with the frozen mountains. And the Spanish fort actually works pretty well as well. Mm-hmm. The mines work pretty well for kind of caverns and cave systems. I think the Lost Tombs is going to work really well as well. Obviously,
temples and stuff.
You have to have that core set, but once that's out, I think it works really well with them.
Belly of the Beast.
Who wouldn't want Greek champions going through the belly of the beast?
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Maybe you've been swallowed by a kraken.
But I would say that you can kind of imagine them on this epic voyage out into the unknown. And so if they're stepping through a portal, they could easily show up in an Old West frontier town. They could easily show up in feudal Japan, or in even in like the barter town of the Blasted Wastes, which the Blasted Wastes actually has a lot of good synergy with all the gladiatorial combat arenas and giant creatures emerging from the desert sands.
They would do well in the fighting pit.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is, if they got pulled through a portal, who's to say that the Gorgons that they were facing off against didn't get pulled through as well? I love the idea of a group of mixed heroes where you've got, a Greek champion with some like samurai or Old West guys, and they come up to a Nemean Lion or Gorgons, and he's like, don't look directly into their stone glare, because the Old West guys have no idea.
Unless they've read Greek mythology.
I don't know. I mean, okay, yeah, there is that. All right, maybe somebody who hadn't lived it yet, like with the caveman expansion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, no, I'm just kidding. Do you guys want caveman heroes?
Caveman team hero.
I was just kidding, but maybe that's what we need to do now.
Yeah, clearly.
This means something. See, that guy gets it.
We need to get Scott some mashed potatoes that he can
sculpt.
I
think so. I should point out, we probably have maybe 8 hours of sleep from the last week. So we're a little loopy.
Just makes us a little punchy, but that's
it.
Right.
It makes it fun. All right, let's see the next slide. So you may have noticed the Shadows of Brimstone Across Time logo, which is branding on all these new Greek items. And so people are like, Scott, what is across time? What does that mean? And I've been telling people all morning, besides saying over and over what the difference between A and B is, I'm like, did you get C? They're like, wait, what? No. So across time. So here's the thing. When we do core sets or adventure sets, they're big. It takes a lot. And so it's, we do one every several years, right? And at this rate, we couldn't possibly do all of the time periods that we want to visit and play in. And so we thought, well, what if we did things in between, where it doesn't have to be a full core set, but we can take a slice of a certain time period and play with those guys. And that's where where these Greek champions and the Gorgons and the Nemean Lion, it's one little slice of Greek stuff pulled out. Now that doesn't mean that we'll never do a core set or an adventure set. We might, but at least you guys are playing with them now. And so it's not like we should do a Greek core set. Yeah, we could probably work that in like 20, 30, you know.
Once we're all Morlocks.
Yeah, once we're all Morlock. We'll let the Morlocks develop that.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, they're going to be playing as like humans going to day jobs. That would be amazing. Yeah, my personal item is a stapler. Something like that. Anyway, so Across Time basically is a new label that we can kind of, it's a new brand of Shadows of Brimstone, and this unlocks all of these new possibilities for us because we can play in other time periods that we really haven't yet. And so I think I haven't discussed it with Jason, but I'm willing to reveal we are already working on another Across Time sliver of something. So you haven't seen the last of the Across Time stuff. Yes. All right, and I will also add something I was telling people earlier. I don't remember who, you might be in this room, but I was saying it was really fun when we were doing the live stream of the stuff, the pledge manager stuff, and we're going through it, and we got to the scoundrel and the Phyroxic ancient heroes, and people are like, "Oh, I can't wait to play this!" And in my head, I'm going, you have no idea that like in a month you're going to be playing with Greek champions. Like literally, it's going to already be on your board. And so that's so exciting. That's one of the best parts about this is it's not like we announce it and down the road that's coming. It's like, no, it's in your hands right now, which I love. I think that's so cool. So you guys like this Across Time thing? You think this was a good thing? All right. By applause, I would say they like this idea. I won't ask. I like. Part of me wants to go, what kind of stuff would you want to see? But like, no, we don't want to do that. Let's not open floodgates, right? All right.
That's what the internet is for.
Why don't we pause right here, because that concludes the kind of new stuff that debuted at Dicefest.
Okay.
And we can answer some questions about that if there are any, and then we'll move on to like looking at talking about some of that future stuff that we showed in the Pledge Manager and things like that.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So let's take some questions. Right there. What do you got?
Do you see the Across Time with the Greek release here, something to be more standalone and you're done with it now and you move on, or are you thinking about future other enemies, supplemental card packs for more gods and things like that? Just wondering.
Yeah. So for people at home or someone who might not have heard, the question was, do you see the Across Time as like kind of one and done, and now you move on to something else, or is there the possibility of now expanding on the established? Like, could there be more stuff for the Greek stuff? And
so the way we see it is kind of like it's now a new anchor point in Shadows of Brimstone. So whereas when we normally do a new core set or an adventure set, it creates an anchor point in time of the Viking Age or Age of Exploration or Feudal Japan or the Old West. And so this basically, with the Across Time characters, it lets us create new anchor points. So this is a Greek mythology anchor point. And so that means we can come back and revisit that at any time and add more card sets that have new gods or new divine nemesis, or new enemy packs or things like that within this kind of anchor point that is Greek mythology. And I'm definitely excited to do that.
So I would say the short answer is officially we're not announcing anything yet, but if you've ever met us, obviously yes. Like, I don't think we can turn it off. It's like, so you'll never make another fill in the blank, divine nemesis. No, I have new ideas for divine nemesis. Actually,
I'm not sure, but I think you already showed one.
I was like, actually, I think we might have. I don't know. Can you flip back to the magazine or show the magazine slide again? So with the issue of the magazine, I don't know if you can see.
It's so small. One of the new cards, because the cards always relate to the different articles in the magazine. One of the articles.
He's zooming in.
One of the articles covers the Greek champion, and so we actually do have a new divine nemesis that is one of the bonus cards in magazine issue number 3.
Tell them what it is.
It's Charon, the boatman.
Yes. And also, there's a new personal item for the Greek champions.
There is a new personal item.
And tell them what it is.
It is a pendant from the sunken city of Ferox.
So, So I guess the short answer is yes. In the magazine, there will be some new Greek material. We didn't even get through one presentation without having more expansion material. Those guys just left. I think they don't like what we're saying. Oh God, they're leaving in droves. He was like, I thought we were one and done. If you're going to expand on the Greek stuff, I'm out. Okay. All right. So let's we can continue to go back. Yeah.
Any other questions people have
Yeah.
right now about this across time stuff? Yeah, go ahead.
So with the Gorgons, I want to pair them up with the Nemean vampires.
Sure.
Those vampires will have generic threat cards, right?
The Nereona vampires, I believe, are only Forest of the Dead. Yeah. We do have blank threat cards that you can get and put Nereona on there. But generally speaking, whenever we have an enemy pack, they always, as a baseline, come with threat cards for the low, medium, and high. And then there will be other world ones, depending on what enemy it is. With other world sets, sometimes there are enemies, because you get that world, there are enemies that are kind of unique to that world. And part of the intent of that is to make it that it doesn't homogenize all the worlds, but keeps some enemies as, ooh, if you go to the Forest of the Dead, you have to be careful, you might run into Nereona vampires. And so that is one of the reasons that that's the case. But anytime we do the standalone enemy packs, they always have the low, medium, and high to make sure that you're covered no matter what core set or adventure set you're playing from.
Yes. Other questions? Oh, Daniel has a question. Oh, is it from online?
Would there be any chance for an allied pack of villages from the across time stuff?
Allied packs for villages?
Or allied packs or villages?
Oh, allied packs or villages. For
Yeah, so
across
to repeat
time
the
stuff.
question.
Is there any chance of having ally packs or town experiences based on the across time stuff? I would say there's always a chance of anything because that's how we do stuff. But it just kind of depends on what's in the development schedule at any given time. Most of the stuff we do tends to gravitate towards the rule of cool, where if we think something would be really fun or exciting, we try the best we can to actually get that integrated into the system so that people can enjoy it. So it's possible. That would be my answer.
All right. Oh, that gentleman over there.
If you had a party of only Greek champions, what town did they go to?
It depends what Earth-based world you would start in, or end in, if it's depending on how you're playing it. But I think that the town experience that probably has worked best with them is the Blasted Waste Barter Town or the Feudal Village, just because there's more kind of melee themed stuff in those places. That's not to say they don't work great. Going to a Viking camp or a Spanish explorer camp or the regular frontier town.
But they don't have a home Earth world like
They don't currently have a home Earth world, and that's kind of one of the themes of the across time stuff. Is it's specifically, at least right now, characters that are on some sort of epic journey, and so you're not really playing them at home. You're playing them abroad.
Yes, away games.
Although I will say that, even though, say, the Old West Mines is themed for the Old West, it would be very easy, I think, to curate your decks and use the Old West Mines as a cave system in,
The underworld?
in the underworld or something along those lines. Yeah.
Cinder could work for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Forest of the Dead or any number of different worlds would work really well as places for them to explore within kind of Greek mythology.
Yeah, I would say so. All right. Any other questions or should? Yes, go ahead.
Is there a rival hero?
It's been out for how many hours?
There is not yet a rivals for the Greek.
It is
champions.
interesting though. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, yes, sir.
How serious are you about the Stone Age thing? Because that's awesome.
Should I not have said that joke? Like actual, like caveman Brimstone.
I expect on the internet tonight it will say Caveman Team Hero confirmed. I expect that.
Yeah, the Tredaran Spy Network. This just in, caveman heroes.
I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, you never know. Like, if we get a bug in the brain and are like, man, it'd be really cool to do this, that, or the other, that kind of stuff tends to happen. So it's just a matter of, if there's something cool there that would actually be fun.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, should we roll on or anything else?
All right,
before
let's
we-
do it.
Okay, all right, so let's move on here. Oh, you know what? I forgot about this slide. This is the coin for this year's Dicefest, and we usually theme it for kind of the stuff we're doing. This year we themed it for Greek stuff, as you can tell. And on the one side, obviously, we have Dicefest 2025, but on the other side, oftentimes we'll put something that means something to gameplay. So for instance, in the past we had like a Spanish gold, like it looked like a gold marker that you could actually
Yeah, like
use.
a cursed coin.
Yeah, like you could use for Valley of the Serpent Kings.
Yeah.
So this one, Jason's like,
Yeah.
let's put an owl.
Which seems really random if you don't know that there's Greek champions.
If you don't know
coming.
that Jason loves owls. No, go on. Actually,
So-
Jason does. Jason loved, when Clash of the Titans came out, Jason loved Bubo so much that over the years, I've gotten him Bubo things. I got him a full-size Bubo that somebody I don't even know. I don't know if it was a toy or what.
It straps onto your shoulder.
It's a strap.
It's a strap-on Bubo.
On Bubo that sits on your shoulder. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point is, owl. Go ahead.
Yes. But I will also say, just to interject, because we're on a tangent anyway, in the Clash of the Titans remake movie from a few years ago, the way they dissed Bubo was just a tragedy. I don't know if you guys know that, but in the theater, I was so angry. I can't tell you how angry I was. Anyway, neither here nor there. So this coin for Dicefest here, basically we put Athena's owl on one side of the coin, which was commonly found on Athenian coins in ancient Greece. But it also does mean something in the game, because if your patron god is Athena, one of her Gift of the Gods cards that you can get during an adventure is an owl companion that you can actually have fly out to heal other heroes or to harass an enemy and reduce their defense. And so in the set, you actually get a little token that's a little owl, Athena's owl companion. And so we thought it would be really cool to put the owl on the coin so that you could use it as kind of a deluxe version of the owl companion token.
Yes. And that is the story of the owl on the coin. All right, let's see the next slide
the owl
here.
and coin sounds like a
Oh, and here's the goodie box. Now, I did not get a chance to post this week because we've been so busy. So all these people online I saw last night, they were like, why haven't they posted the list of what comes in the goodie box? And I was like, oh no, I forgot to post it, and I don't have a copy of it here. So this is an exclusive right here, where it shows what comes in the goodie box. Obviously, the Veteran Frontier Doc, which we had shown before, and it's really cool because he has a parasite on his back. This is a Frontier Doc that has been around the block and had a lot of adventures and stuff. And so we actually thought it would be really cool to have a parasite on him. And he also has the nano repair from the derelict ship. But we said, what if somebody is playing a dock and they want to use this miniature, but they haven't had a bunch of adventures yet? And so we made a starting gear.
It's a personal
item.
item.
A personal item of
An experimental
parasite, where maybe he's put it on himself voluntarily to aid him. And so that actually is a card that comes with it. But besides the experimental parasite, we actually have a new map tile, and it's double-sided with canyons on one side and blasted wastes on the other.
Yep.
And what do they call it? It's Acid Lake.
Yeah.
And what was the other side?
Shores of the Dead, I want to say.
Dead Riverbank. Dead Riverbank.
Dead Riverbank. There you
And
go.
it's really, you can't probably tell from the picture, but if you guys have seen the tile, because you got your goodie boxes, it has these where skeletons were climbing up out of the acid lake before they were just dissolved, except their bones. It's crazy. But those are pretty cool. And then also we include the cards for the map tile decks for those.
The map
And then
cards, yeah.
and then also the encounter cards for those.
The advanced encounters.
The encounters are pretty interesting too.
Yeah, but we don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, okay.
People can enjoy their encounters.
And then we also did a thing that is a new Grimeans Otherworld threat pack. So it's themed just for Grimeans. Grimeans are the little goblin guys that come in Gates of Valhalla. And it basically has Grimeans spreading out and infesting all the other worlds. So it's otherworld threats for all the other worlds for Grimeans to attack. Because anybody who's ever fought Grimeans is probably thinking, I hope I could fight these everywhere.
The epic quote for Grimeans is that they're hard to find and harder to lose.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one. All right. Anyway, so that's the goodie box. And so for people at home, we ended up not casting up to our normal amount that we'd be able to do. Our thermoplastic injection machine is having some problems. It melted down last week. And so I believe that they did not put up the goodie box for sale online yet, but
Oh, really?
we'll definitely make sure that it'll be available that people can get it. Is it on there now? Okay. So yeah, it might be in limited quantities. We'll do what we can to make it available a little longer or something. We're not trying to keep it from people. It's just we also don't want to promise what we can't deliver yet. And actually, with a bunch of the stuff on the web store, we actually have it as a shipping in November. I think it's November 17th. So it's almost like it might say pre-order. It's not that it's like a pre-order for something that needs to arrive. We need to cast, and catch up to be able to send those out. So we gave ourselves a little bit of casting time before all the ones at home. The people in the room here, they're available downstairs. Thank you for coming to Dicefest. But let's move on.
Yep.
And there's the Frontier Dock, painted by Aaron Lovejoy. Yeah, the details on this guy are so good. He's got little specimen containers. Oh. Well,
There it is.
okay, he's got little specimen containers in a bandolier strap, like a whole strap filled with specimen containers. And some of them fell and broke and released little larval versions of some of the parasites from the game. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with this guy. All right, we'll spin on. Oh, a glimpse into the future, the future. Let's see what we got. Morlocks, yes, it's all Morlocks from here on out.
Oh, it's the Crimson Hand Enclave.
Yes, let's talk Crimson Hand Enclave. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Is anybody getting the Crimson Hand Enclave? Yeah? It's another one that's going to be like the Tredaran Strike team, where I think we're going to be like, we made this so cool. Why did we make it so cool? Because it's a Kickstarter exclusive. The Tredaran Strike team is one of the best expansions that we've done, and it's like Kickstarter exclusive. Anyway, we're doing the same thing. We can't help ourselves. We make cool stuff. We're like putting everything we have into it, and the Crimson Hand Enclave is really, really great. We're gonna talk about it. So this right here is the cover art for the Crimson Hand Enclave. You've got the acolyte here up in front with his sword and his torch. I think I saw him running around in the Halloween party last night. Yeah, it could have been anybody. The Inquisitor is up here in the front in the helmet, and Cloaked Assassin there. Cloaked Assassin, there's actually two versions of her. The Cloaked Assassins with the Crimson Hand are always female, and so instead of having male side, it's female side, but there's different versions of the Cloaked Assassin. So one of them is armed with two swords, and the other one uses a garrote. And so we have modifications so you can model it to be either one. And then back in the back there, we've got the Cultist. And so this is the Crimson Hand that you may have seen more often. Crimson Hand Cultists. But I guess I won't go through everything.
He's sort of a veteran cultist.
We'll talk about it as we go. But they can be orb bearers. That's one of their the things. And what you're not seeing here, not pictured in this one, is the Plague Inquisitor. And it's, there's two versions of the Inquisitor, basically, the Plague Inquisitor and the Standard Inquisitor. So we have not shown the Plague Inquisitor yet,
Are we gonna show that today?
but we're going to show that today. All right, let's move on and see. There's the expansion there, and it is a Kickstarter exclusive. But if you're part of the Cursed Tombs of Commentet, Helltrain Kickstarter, then you can go and get this on the Pledge Manager right now. And if you're not part, look to your left, look to your right, see there may be someone who would be willing to let you buy an extra copy from them. And of course, even though it's a Kickstarter exclusive, we very often will offer them again in the next Kickstarter. So you're not like just out of luck. All right, let's go on to the next one there. We do see some of the miniatures there for those guys. All right, so Jason, do you want to talk about like gameplay aspects of these different characters as we go through?
Sure. I mean, I don't want to reveal too much, but I
Okay,
can go
sure.
into a little bit. So the Crimson Hand Enclave are basically a group of anti-hero playable Crimson Hand heroes who are part of kind of a secret sect within the Crimson Hand that is specifically all about the darkest, deepest secrets and finding the relics and the different various orbs throughout time and space. And so that's kind of one of the themes of these characters. They have a new ability token that's called Secrets that they get to use. And I won't go into what that does right now, but it ends up being pretty powerful because you collect up secrets as the darkness gets stronger, and then you can use that to fuel different abilities and whatnot. They also, for the first time, have an ability token that's actually a team ability token, where the team can get dark secrets, and that has a more powerful effect, but they're a little bit more limited. This particular character we're looking at right now is the Acolyte, which is basically a character who focuses on ancient and mystic magical relics. And so there's actually a deck of mystic artifacts that they get to pull from at the start of each adventure to see which kind of mystical item they're bringing on the adventure to give them bonuses for that round, for that adventure, that mission. But they are all about kind of scrolls and amulets and kind of the actual magical end of things. And they're kind of the experts in that. Why don't we spin on to the next one there? All right, the Cloaked Assassin. So the Cloaked Assassin is basically a character that is all about stealth and being kind of a rogue-like character that is about assassinations, moving silently in the shadows, and attacking with her blades or her garrote, depending on which version of the character you end up electing to use. But she's all about kind of stealth and striking from the shadows and making enemies kind of disappear into the shadows.
And the way that we painted her is so the outside clothing, like her cloak, is all black, and then on the inside of it's red, and her gauntlets are in red. So basically, she'll be shrouded in very dark, cloaked in the darkness, and then when she attacks, it's with a flash of blazing swords and red. The crimson comes out right when she strikes.
All right, here we have the...
This is an exclusive. First time we've ever shown this.
The Veteran Cultist, and you can see he's holding one of the ancient mystical orbs there. For people that are familiar with the Crimson Hand, you'll know that the orbs of Rokal are one of the kind of powerful items that are associated with the Order of the Crimson Hand. But one of the starting upgrades for the Veteran Cultist is that you can be an orb bearer, which means you get to choose one of the orbs to bring with you on each adventure. And so each one does something different, but they're all kind of powerful magical relics. And so you can have an orb bearer that joins your enclave and brings along the power of the ancient kind of cosmic mystical orbs.
All right, spin on there.
All right, here we have the Inquisitor, who's kind of a leader figure amongst the enclave, and this
He's
version
got
of
sick
his,
abs.
that I believe that's a cuirass, right? Breastplate.
It's a breastplate. But someone, I can't remember.
Someone thought he just didn't have a shirt
was
on.
Someone was saying, I'm going to paint those as flesh. And I was like, that's really gross.
He's super ripped.
Yeah.
Do you even lift, bro? So yeah, he is the Inquisitor, so he's kind of a leader of the group, but he is also kind of a keeper of those secrets of the Enclave. And so he's all about using those ability token secrets and kind of using them to the fullest.
Oh, there he
And
is.
the other version, the alternate version of the Inquisitor is actually the Plague Inquisitor, which is based off of the Dread Inquisitor enemies. And so they have the sort of Plague Doctor mask. They've got kind of an armored cowl, and they actually can bring deadly plagues with them to unleash on the enemies that you run into in the on your adventures. And so you can unleash plagues that will go through the enemies and try to do kind of group damage and kind of wipe out different enemies in that way.
So, sorry. After this, as soon as we finish, we have the Crimson Hand figures, and so you guys can check them out for the first time.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I just
All right.
noticed the time. We're running out of time.
We're running out of time, so
we'll
we might need to go at a faster clip. What do we got here?
All right, what's next? Oh, this is a brand new illustration that's actually from the Crimson Hand Enclave. That is an exclusive. Nobody's ever seen this. And this is our Crimson Hand heroes exploring the derelict ship. Because, you know, for the first time now, you can play a group of Crimson Hand heroes going to other worlds. All right, Gangsters of Chicago.
Yeah.
This one, you guys like this side? Some people are like, I don't know if they should be mob in Brimstone, and other people are like, yes, give it to me now. So I'm just wondering.
For people that are fans of Fortune and Glory, it definitely is a no-brainer to get.
Oh yeah.
To get the Chicago mob as some villains horning in on the territory of the ancient tombs of Commentet. So this is a new enemy theme pack. So we've talked about this a little bit in the Pledge Manager and whatnot, but we wanted to show off some of the artwork and the different enemies. And so the different enemies that come in this box are, you've got a couple of characters and a couple of enemy groups. For the enemy groups, you have the mob goons, which are large size, kind of dock worker looking mobster thugs. And then you also have the medium-sized group, which is the wise guys that are armed with pistols and brass knuckles, and some of them are armed with Tommy guns. And of course, they've got their long trench coats.
So these are the wise guys right here, and in the next one, I think we'll see the goons.
The mob goons.
Yeah.
All right. And then for the two villains, kind of villainous characters in this pack, you have the femme fatale nightclub singer and the mob boss Capo, who are kind of the villains that lead the group. And so basically we wanted to show this stuff off and say that after the presentation here, we'll actually have printed prototypes of these enemies as well that you can come up and take a look at.
Yes. All right. And of course, the other enemy theme pack that we announced in the Pledge Manager, the Legacy of the Old Kingdoms. This, I still remember when Jason told me about this, and he was like, what if we had enemies that were like really ancient Egyptian? And I was like, yes, ancient Egyptian enemies, we have that. He's like, no. Further back. And I was like, what's further back? What do you mean? He's like, Old Kingdom Egypt. The Old Kingdoms. I'm like, tell me more. And
Ancient in the ancient times.
yes, and so as he started going through and describing it, I just got more and more on board. I'm so excited about this. And the characters and the enemies for this pack are so cool. So let's go through some of them. Now, as an enemy theme pack, of course, what is established for an enemy theme pack is 2 groups of enemies and then 2 character leaders. And so this is we just saw that with the mobsters. You've got a group of 3 large-sized goons and a group of 6 wise guys, and then 2 leaders, the femme fatale and the capo. With these guys, we've got a group of 6 of these decrepit mummies. And these are like super ancient mummies, so they're totally falling apart. And I love how they turned out. They're fantastic stuff.
Yeah, the models for these guys turned out really cool.
All right, and then if we go to the next one, oh yes, and these guys are large size enemies.
The Set Prowlers. So these, one of the themes of the Legacy of the Old Kingdoms is that it's based on kind of the oldest and scariest gods of ancient Egypt, the ancient Egyptian mythology and the pantheon. And so this is Set, which is the kind of god of chaos and the god of the desert. And so the Set Prowlers are based on kind of guardians of tombs that are based on the Set animal, which is kind of a unique mythological creature that that historians don't really know if they were based on a real creature or not. If it was, then that creature's gone extinct by now, but it may just be that it's mythological only, they don't know. But they have kind of a long snout, looks like an anteater, and long pointy ears, and they're sort of vicious, kind of close combat fighters, but they also wield chaos magic.
All right. Oh, and then there's 2 leaders. This is the Neath Huntress. And man, I love this model.
So one of the themes for the legacy of the Old Kingdoms is that everything is, all the kind of human characters are undead. So the decrepit mummies and both of the different kind of villain characters we have. The Neath Huntress is named such for the goddess Neath, and she uses a bow that she can fire 2 arrows at a time with. And she's sort of a fast and agile hunter type villain that can hunt down your heroes through the shadows of the old tombs.
All right, and then the last character here is the Serket Venom Priest.
Yes, the Serket Venom Priest, based on the ancient god Serket. It's all about scorpions, and you can see that he has actually a mechanically constructed scorpion tail to deliver different venoms, and he also wields blades that are in reverence to the
Scorpion claws.
of the scorpion.
Yeah, we discussed for a while if we should go the direction of an organic, like claw hands and a scorpion tail, because a lot of the actual Egyptian mythology is that. But we thought this would be actually kind of more interesting and something you haven't seen before. And so the tail, the mechanisms of that, I went back and looked at a bunch of different, like Leonardo da Vinci. He actually made robots, which is super weird, but some of those mechanisms of how like the robots moved and what the different pieces were. And so a lot of this is based on that and the pulleys and levers and everything like that. So I think it'll be pretty cool, actually. It's a good looking figure. All right, and here is another illustration of some of those guys. All right, and I think there might be another illustration. Yes, the Neath Huntress. All right, and oh, Shattered Ruins of Shakar. The audience goes silent. Is this interesting to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. When you were so quiet, I was like, oh, they don't like it. Okay.
I do
Shattered
think
Ruins
we're
of
over
Shakar.
time by quite a bit, so we probably need to wrap
Is this
things
a
up.
90-minute or just an hour? I thought it was a 90.
I think it's just an hour.
Was it just an hour?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, no, then we're really over time.
So maybe we should just
I guess we'll just stop.
blaze through things here. So I mean, for people that have seen,
Is it 90? No? Oh, okay.
for people that have seen the
That's
Pledge
what-
Manager, you've already seen some of the reveals for this, with the Shattered Ruins of Shakar being a new Otherworld deluxe box set. And it has the deep jungle on one side, which is an earth-based world, and that actually also works really well for the Greek champions, as a side note. And then, of course, the Shattered Ruins of Shakar, which is the homeworld, the destroyed homeworld of the Shakari nomads. And
And
so,
the Shikari pirates? Void pirates.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just
true.
saying. It's not just the world of the nomads.
Well, the Crusaders, I think, is what you're thinking of.
All right, so we're moving into doorways now. I don't
guess.
know. Yeah, since we're over time, we were just
probably
going to
ought
talk
to
a little bit about the Shattered Ruins of Shakar, but I don't, it's okay. We can always talk to people individually after.
That's true, that's true.
All right. The doorways, we're basically touching on this is a glimpse of the future. This is stuff we're going to be working on. And as it comes out, if you're in the Kickstarter, yes, you're going to be getting it early and all that. If you're not in the Kickstarter, these will be retail releases that will be coming sooner than later. All right, and then these are the different doorways we have for the Hell Train and for the Cursed Tombs. They actually have really cool features where the Cursed Tombs one has doors that you can slide in, stone block doors that are part of the traps and that kind of thing. And then the Hell Train doors actually clip onto the train
rooftops.
car. They sit on the train car, and then the train car roofs clip into them.
Yeah, and so we actually have some, again, after the panel finishes, anybody who wants to come up, we have some printed prototypes so you can see them kind of in action.
Hands-on. All right, and then we were going to touch on the Phyroxic Ancient and the Scoundrel, 2 new heroes that we announced for this as well. So again, if you're in the Kickstarter, these are available now in the Pledge Manager. If you're not, why not? No, I'm just kidding. If you're not, they'll be coming to retail. All right, and then
All
what
right,
else we got there? Oh!
I think this is the end of the presentation here. We
Yes.
have Kamuntet, the High Priest of the Desert Sands. And so we wanted to show off the model a little bit and say it's a pretty epic end boss. And we actually do have a 3D printed prototype of that here as well that people can come up and see after the show. He is both on his chariot as well as on foot. And so I think this is one of the most epic models that we've done to date. It turned out really cool, and when you get close, you can actually see all the detail of the big wave of sand and mummies that he's riding his chariot into battle on.
So I think because we're over time, we'll stop there and then invite you guys to come up and actually get hands-on with all the different new things we talked about, including Kamuntet on his chariot. All right.
Well,
thank you guys
again for coming to the presentation here, and thank you for coming to Dicefest 2025.
And before we go too far, I did want to thank, if anybody has a badge like this, it's due to Brian Bosch putting together an amazing fan event last night. Let's hear it for Brian. Thanks, Brian, for making Thursday basically like day 4 of Dicefest. He's really expanded on the offering of, for people who come from all over the place. Another whole event the day before.
Yeah.
So thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
And thank all of you guys for coming out to Dicefest. We have a lot more stuff going on tomorrow and Sunday and even the rest of the day today. So thanks for coming out. Come on up.
Stickers for the event if you want to get a sticker for your badge.
And promo cards for coming to the event.
Don't
I will
leave
grab
without your
those right
promo
now.
cards.
Do you want to just bring